Hey, football fans, this is Gary Green, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor here in Las Vegas for the past 35 years. And this is Gary Wins Videos. And this is our NFL week number 11 recap of last week's games where the scores in the box scores were a little bit deceiving. Just 4 games this week to go over, but I'll go over them real quick just to get you up to date in case you just look at the final scores. Very misleading final scores for sure. First, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who did pull out of the win 23-20 against Tampa Bay. But in the game, Tampa Bay was as bad on offense as I've ever seen them play in the last 3 or 4 years, especially with Baker Mayfield. But just 110 yards rushing and 105 yards passing. The game wasn't really that close. Purdy just dominated the entire game, and he was a magician with some of his throws. The game was not that close. Next up, Minnesota 12, Jacksonville 7. Another game not even close to this kind of score. Jacksonville did absolutely nothing on offense. They had 18 rushes for 56 yards. Matt Jones had 14 for 22 for 87 yards passing. This kid is a disaster. I don't even know how they can keep him in there as a backup much past this season. He's a bust. But as far as Vikings go, Sam Darnold had he went back to his old days, and he really looked terrible from start to finish. 3 interceptions that were all costly, almost cost the opportunity to lose a game when the defense once again played lights out. They completely have done everything that they've been asked to do on defense. I told you weeks ago that I love the defensive coordinator Flores, and he is calling a mastermind game every single game just about. This guy's disguising coverages, adjustments, throwing blitzes, at surprising times, and just overall dominating play calling performances. That game was not even close. Minnesota should have won that game by at least 3 touchdowns. But again, this Vikings defense playing really, really good. The next game was the LA Chargers 27, Tennessee 17. And I got a little part in my heart here that feels really bad for this Tennessee Titans defense, because this defense is playing really, really good football. They're giving the team an opportunity to win every single week. The offense just cannot help them whatsoever. But the defense, once again, only giving up 289 total yards. This Tennessee team is no pushover. You do not want to just think that looking at their record, you're going to bet against them like some of these other bad teams. In fact, Carolina won back-to-back games, and they sucked in both of them. They aren't doing anything still on offense, but they came away with wins against, really, in a way, bad teams. So don't look at that as anything positive. But I will say, even though the record is negative, it's not good at all for Tennessee, and the offense is not helping at all. But the bottom line is the defense is playing fantastic football, one of the top 3 defenses in the league. So don't just look to pounce on them just because the record's bad. This defense might end up stealing a win for them going forward, even if the offense doesn't contribute at all. Last but not least, New Orleans beats Atlanta 20-17, and that gives my heart a little bit of an uplift because I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan. But the bottom line is Atlanta should have won this game. Now, I'll give big credit to the difference in the New Orleans team with Carr in there. Carr made 3 of the greatest passes of the season in that game. 3 deep balls that were dead, beautiful dime passes. When they talk about throwing dimes, this guy hit them right dead on the money, and that was the reason that they were hanging in there and even ahead for a good portion there. The bottom line is Atlanta's offense did gain a lot of yardage, 468. The New Orleans defense, folks, is the worst tackling defense I've seen in a decade. They cannot tackle. They cannot play at all. It's a miracle that they got to win there, but don't let that win be a fool you moment. That defense is horrific. 3 really something that we don't see often. A great kicker in this league, missing not 1, not 2, but 3 field goals. And that was the difference maker. Atlanta missing 3 field goals cost them a chance to be able to just walk out of there with a win. The offense did everything it could, but it didn't get the ball in the end zone enough. But a couple of times they actually seemingly played for the field goal, and it ended up coming to bite them in the ass. And again, that's a tough loss for Atlanta. When that was a game that they really had circled as a win for sure. They're going to have to pick up that game somewhere down the road, but they still have a nice cushion in their division. So that's your 3 Week 11 update games from week number 10 with deceiving stats. Make sure you check out all our other videos at Gary Wins Videos, and I hope you have a great winning weekend ahead.